Good morning, everyone. It is Friday. It is Dance Party Friday, and I'm here with this beautiful, incredible, amazing star, Yvette. She's going
Good morning.
viral,
Good
everyone.
morning. Thank you.
How
And
does
thank
it?
you. Thank you for your help last night.
Well, so in case you missed it, Yvette has a business. She's a health coach. We don't talk about it much on this show, but we'll talk about it a little bit today. But last night she was interviewed on a very popular show on the internet, and she's going viral. And no, really, like lots of people are
I
watching.
mean, right when we finished, she sent me a screenshot of how many views. It was like 416 at the time. I was like, "What? How could that be?"
Yeah, and now you're like right under a
Yeah.
thousand.
It was pretty funny because as we were doing it, the lights flickered and the lights went out.
That's right. The lights went out. The
So
lights went out. The power went out, and now
yeah,
you had. But you know what?
yeah.
What did you
But
do?
it's funny. It's funny. We just got right back on it, and I think we had a really good, informative conversation. It was just putting it out there.
You put it out there.
So it was
It's
fun.
awesome. Awesome. So today's Dance Party Friday. We're going to talk about that a little bit more in a second. It's Dance Party Friday. Why do we do Dance Party Friday? It's to give everyone an opportunity to step outside their comfort zone and post their dance below. And not only that, but it's Friday, so it's time to just let loose a little, right? We've worked the whole week hard, and now it's time to just relax a little bit. So, that said, I picked a song from the 1980s, and it's good.
Oh
I think it's
boy.
the 80s, either 80s or 90s, but maybe you'll let us know. And make sure to post your dance below. Alexa, play. Here we go. Just got this. It's Friday night. Body hot. Feeling right. Body shaking. Body shaking right now. No doubt. I'm gonna get it down. Check the mirror. I'm looking at the light. All right, Alexa, stop. So it's Dance Party Friday. Make sure to post your dance below. Step outside our comfort zone, right? And be a little silly. You know, how many times do we live life where we're kind of inauthentic, right? We're not being who we really are. Like, who are we in the house versus going outside and being around a group of people? And why can't we just be that same person, right? And have
Right?
some
Yeah.
fun. So, anyway, so today's topic is really interesting. And it has to do with this beautiful woman over here. And so we're going to talk about today. You know, we talk about mindset all the time, but how does our gut, our intestinal tract, how does that affect our mindset? And the beautiful thing is, I'm going to turn it over to Yvette, and she's going to kind of lead us in this because this is your expertise.
Well, the amazing thing is that the gut and the brain don't operate separately. The gut is actually known as the second brain. And
So,
the interesting thing is there's a nerve. It's called the vagus nerve. So it runs from your brain down to your stomach, and it's funny because it's like it's a phone that has a wire. It's not. They don't have the brain and the gut is not like a wireless. It's not a wireless cell phone. It's attached, and once it gets into the stomach, it's like a web. It's like a knitted sweater. And all these cables are going all over the place. So they're intertwined. So when something is happening in the gut, it's going to affect the brain.
all right, so most people out there are going to be saying, okay, Yvette, I hear you. That sounds a little crazy to me, right? Like,
Okay.
how is it that my mindset could be affected from something that's going on in my stomach? So, what's actually happening in real simplistic terms that's causing our brains to not be able to work effectively and to think and process and do things the way we would want to?
Well, a lot of times too is what we're eating. If we're eating that sugar, the sugar is going, if too much sugar is going to flood the brain, and our brains become very slow. We start getting the brain fog. Let's see, you get the brain fog and you're not seeing that it's connected to what you're eating. Let's just say you're you have a lot of anxiety and it's affecting your stomach. It's going to affect your brain.
So right. So we put a piece of food in our mouth, we chew it up, we eat it. It goes into our intestinal tract, and what you're saying is, whatever is going on in your intestines is actually causing your brain to not function properly because we have really two brains, one
Yeah.
here in our yeah. So that's interesting because I never really heard that before. So what can people do so that they're able to think more clearly and process thoughts and have a stronger mindset.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of lifestyle changes we can make. One thing too, a lot of people are starting to do lately is adding meditation.
Mm,
Meditation makes a huge difference when you're trying to get overall health for your gut and your brain. Just to have some time during the day where you take either in the morning or the afternoon or both, we do both, just to bring some silence, just so that you can just kind of like start training the brain. Okay, like this is our time now. It makes a huge difference. And also the practice of yoga.
so okay, so yoga, meditation, absolutely. But when it comes, and those are great, we know for a fact they absolutely calm us down. They help with our mindset. But when it comes to taking stuff and putting it inside of our body, what are a couple of things that we could do to help again with that mindset?
So when we're ingesting food, we have to understand the food we eat. We are what we eat, and it's so true
Hmm.
because if we're eating all this processed food that's out there, it's going to break down. And guess what? That processed food, it's not only affecting your gut. And I spoke about this last night. Your gut has all these bugs. I mean, it has a different term, but the easiest way to explain it is that we have 500 little species of bugs living in our stomach. Now, if those guys are not healthy, guess what? It's going to communicate to the brain that there is an issue.
Yeah.
So we have to fuel the brain too. Remember, the brain is a muscle. So we have to feed it. And so we have to feed it healthy things. And we got to remember too our vitamins. Like if you're deficient in magnesium, something so simple you can pick up at CVS for pennies on the dollar, that too can help you with your mindset, your brain, having it operate properly.
Right. So again, so today what we're talking about, right? Sometimes we say, well, I'm doing all these things. Maybe I'm meditating, maybe I'm doing yoga, but my mindset still seems off. And what Yvette's saying from her expertise as a health coach and in guiding people with a specialty in dealing with gut and intestinal issues is that if we're not feeding these bugs within our stomach,
Yeah.
they're like healthy bugs. These are
They're
bugs
good
that they're
bugs.
great. They're going to help us.
Yeah.
But if we're not, if we're putting the wrong foods in, we're actually killing off those bugs. And ultimately, that has an effect on our brain and how we think and how we process things. Have you ever walked or have you ever walked around with brain fog? Like you just feel like confused and cloud. Well, that comes from. I mean, it could come from lack of sleep, but it also comes from the things that we're eating. Just let's quickly just talk about sugar and its
Oh,
impact
I mean,
on.
sugar is the number one killer of the gut bugs, but also the brain. When we say what is the number one thing to eliminate in our diets, it's sugar because our brain does need sugar and it does break down, carbohydrates that will break it down to sugar, but it needs about 65 grams a day. Let's be real, guys. Most Americans, you can easily do that just in the morning.
Right, just one
Between
Starbucks coffee.
Starbucks, we're talking about croissants and all the other things, bagels, because bagels have sugar in them. So it's a carbohydrate, so it's going to break down to sugar. So what happens? Guess what? When all that's broken down and you have so much sugar throughout the day, it's called a sugar flood to the brain, and it's going to cause inflammation when there's so much. So the brain just can't operate properly, so that you have that brain fog. Sometimes you just feel like you can't get out of your own way.
Yeah.
It's the food we're eating, it's the sugar. Gluten is also not our friend. I mean, I hate to say that to people, the bread, the pastas, they're just not good for us.
But they taste great, but unfortunately, when they're inside our intestinal tract, they're doing harm, and that harm causes us to not feel good. And many times we don't really think about the connection between the two. and especially the fact it could affect our brain, our ability to think and process things. But that's what you're saying. There's that connection from the stomach to the brain,
Oh, absolutely.
which is pretty
And you know
incredible.
what? A lot of people run, who are not feeling good and are feeling kind of sad, and they think, okay, I'm depressed, I have anxiety. They'll go to the doctor. The doctor will write them a script for medicine. But, I'm not saying that we can cure everything, but what I'm saying is food is our medicine.
Yeah,
Understanding that
that was said how many years ago? Food is thy medicine, right? I mean, that's it.
Hippocrates,
Right.
who is really the doctor of modern medicine, that's 2,500 years ago. He said
2,500
this.
years ago.
If we just listen, what he was saying way back then, and we're understanding that feed the garden because it affects this here, and we can operate at such a higher level when we're feeding it the things it needs.
I love what Yvette just said. We've used this for our mind before, but think of your stomach. Think of having a garden there and you're planting in seeds and what you want to sprout. Like, do you want health or not health? So when we're putting in that McDonald's hamburger, the shake, ice cream, Starbucks, right? We're planting in those seeds of unhealthiness, unfortunately. And then what comes from that is we feel sick and we have issues in our body. So
Yeah.
what's as we kind of, I guess, wrap it up a little bit, everyone out there, they're watching, they're saying, oh, okay, I hear what you're saying, but what are a few things that we can easily start to implement into our lives to help ourselves? What could they do?
I think one of the biggest things that affects the gut and the brain is the increase of sugar. We really have to be mindful of how much sugar we're eating.
Yeah.
Because as a country, we eat really, it's doubled, and it's such an issue. And one thing I want to tell you guys, this is a pretty interesting research that was done. They put rats, and they gave rats cocaine, and they gave rats sugar. Guess where the rats wanted? The rats didn't want the cocaine. They wanted the sugar. Sugar is a drug.
Yeah, that I've heard that study too. I've seen that. And the amazing thing about it is when they look, first of all, the rats love cocaine. So it's not like they don't like it, but when they're given the option between sugar and cocaine, they go to sugar. And what they noticed is, which is incredible, is they look at the brain as the rats are actually eating or having the cocaine and the sugar. The sugar lights up the same areas of the brain as cocaine, which tells them that this is addictive. Sugar is addictive. And once we start eating it, we want more and more and more. I want more. I want more ice cream. I want more cake, right? That's why we're so into it, because it's actually addictive, just like cocaine.
Oh, absolutely.
And who knows that? The food companies, right?
Well, yeah, because they know how to, because now we're becoming smarter consumers. So if we see sugar or, other derivatives of sugar, we're starting to stay away. But there are so many different ways, different names that sugar has now. So it's educating ourselves as a consumer so we're not, intaking so much sugar, because it's extremely bad for us.
Yeah. So here's a really great example for everyone out there so we can really understand what we're talking about. So, right, we know that sugar is not good. We know we want to get a Diet Pepsi. So here's the thing. Inside of a Diet Pepsi is not sugar, but there's other sweeteners. And guess what happens? It does the same thing to your body as if you were drinking a regular soda. In fact, with diet soda, you can gain a lot of weight because it's still causing your insulin levels to shoot up.
Absolutely.
Right.
And the thing is, because it's not in its purest form, it doesn't have like the regular sugar. What is it doing? It's going and it's killing that garden. And so when we want to stay, our gut and brain healthy, we're not doing it. So we think, okay, well, we're cutting down on the calories. But the thing that you're ingesting, that diet soda, it's killing those good the gut bugs. And it's affecting the brain. Like, eat something that's not healthy, or eat something, the gluten, the Starbucks, and a couple of hours later, just be mindful of how you're feeling. it's connected to what you're eating.
Yeah, did you ever have like you had that soda or some kind of sugar and you get all amped up and you're feeling great, and then literally like 15 minutes after that, it's like you just crash and
Yeah.
now all of a sudden you feel down. You actually get angry sometimes and snap, but that's all based on the things that we eat. So to wrap this up, because we could have hours and hours talking
Oh
about this,
gosh, yeah.
but to wrap it up, I just want to point out that this wonderful, beautiful woman right here has a business outside of what we do here, right? This is just to give information. But she has a Facebook group now specifically for women who are having these issues, these intestinal issues, gut issues, IBS, all kinds of issues with their stomach. She's the one to talk to because she healed herself after 40 years of running in and out to the doctors, having been told that they were going to have to cut out some of her intestine. She said, no, I'm not doing it anymore. I'm not taking the medicine anymore. None of this has been working. I'm tired of this. And she took it into her own hands. And guess what? She healed herself completely by changing the way that she ate food. Food is our medicine, and I think that's the message today.
Oh,
So, how
absolutely.
can people actually get you? Get to the
So
group.
the website is called not the website. The Facebook group is called Wellness Awakening. So, or you can comment here if you have questions, if you want to reach out to me. Yeah, if you have questions about food, comment below. Feel
Absolutely.
free. And I live for this. I suffered for a long, long, long time. So I find now that this is my mission. My mission is to help others who are living with this
That's right.
because, if we understand food is our medicine, we can start to heal ourselves. We can be our own health advocate.
Yeah, I mean, just think about this for 1 second. Yvette was in and out of the doctors for 40 plus years. She would go on a trip with her family. They'd have to run to the bathroom. She'd have to, if she was on the train, sometimes she'd have to get off, after stop 2 to go to the bathroom. And it wasn't like she could hold it. She had to run so if you know someone, if you're struggling like that, if you have issues like that, she healed herself 40 plus years one way, doing it like the doctors told her to do. And then she learned a completely different approach, which now she teaches to everyone else. So again, if you know someone, Wellness Awakening, just search on Facebook Wellness Awakening, and you can either join it or add other people that you know. That's a wrap. Anything else that you have to say to close this out?
Tomorrow is Halloween.
Happy Halloween.
And I don't want to say don't have candy tomorrow. Just be careful. Like, I'm not handing out apples. Don't be afraid. I'm not handing out,
Right.
apples and bananas, even though we probably should.
We could. Or
But yeah,
pennies,
have
right.
a happy no pennies.
Remember those? You would go trick or treating, and
Yeah.
they would leave a thing of pennies out, and suddenly the whole thing would disappear because you'd pour it into your pillowcase. Yeah. So anyhow, not that I ever did that, but I'm just saying I've heard people do that.
Oh gosh.
Anyway, have a wonderful, wonderful Halloween. We will see you guys on Monday. Have a great weekend. Just remember that that we do have power. You missed it, Jason. Jason says he missed the dancing, but we missed your dancing. We still to this day have been promised over and over that we were going to see you dance, and yet, have you seen Jason dance?
No. And I think it's happy belated birthday. I think
Happy belated birthday. It was.
Yes. So
happy birthday.
Belated.
Yes, it's a special day. And then tomorrow we'll all celebrate it on Halloween together. So happy birthday, Jason. And have a wonderful, wonderful day, night, and weekend. And we will see you guys back on Monday.
All right. Have a great
Have
one.
a great one. Take care.